Hello and welcome to the Department for International Development, and thank you for coming to take part in our consultation. We've invited you here today because we want to hear your views ahead of the G20 summit taking place in London in just a couple of weeks' time. World leaders will meet in the shadow of a significant financial crisis, more serious than that which we've seen for generations. And people right around the world are being affected, some losing their jobs, others finding it much harder to get the credit they need to run their businesses. But the people who may suffer most are the world's poorest people. The money available to developing countries is falling rapidly. As we buy fewer goods, investors become cautious, and family members who have moved abroad find it harder to take that money back home. By the end of this year, the effects of the truly global downturn could force as many as 46 million more people into lives lived in extreme poverty. It's deeply unfair, it's simply wrong that people who are already struggling to provide food, schooling and healthcare for their families may be the biggest casualties of an emergency they had no part in creating. So we must help the world's poorest people through the downturn. Last week, our Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, committed to take that message to the G20 summit and to tell world leaders that we cannot solve the economic challenges we face without involving the continent of Africa and the developing countries more generally. In fact, many of the most important tasks we face today cannot be faced effectively by the United Kingdom working alone. Tackling climate change, reducing conflict, rebuilding the global economy are all global problems that ultimately need global solutions. But we can and must play our part in meeting all of these challenges here in the United Kingdom. That's why my department is putting together a new white paper, a policy discussion document, to set out how together we can help to eliminate global poverty. I want to hear your thoughts and your views about what world leaders should do at the G20 London Summit and what our priorities should be as we take forward the work of this department in the years ahead. Many of the young people I meet see the world as too unequal, too unsafe and too unsustainable, and they want to change it. We need your ideas and your involvement to help make those changes happen.
Tackling climate change, ending children dying from HIV or diseases like malaria, solving the world economic problems which have been on our newspapers and television screens in recent months. All those things can't be done unless governments work together in order to solve these global problems. And that's why the spotlight is going to be on Britain in the next few weeks, because prime ministers and presidents from all around the world, including the new American President Obama, they're all going to be coming to London to discuss what needs to be done. And this London summit, it means a lot more to our country than just hosting a meeting. It's a hugely important opportunity for all of us to make sure the world hears what we think about some of these huge challenges which face the world. In recent months, businesses, banks, governments and families have all felt the effects of the credit crunch, and we've seen on the television screens in America, in Britain, in Europe, around the world, how everybody's being affected. And we've got to come through it together. That means businesses and academics working together to make sure we get it right, but it also means parents and young people too. There are some people who say that young people don't really care about issues like the economy or the environment. I find the exact opposite is true. One of the very best things about my job is to visit schools and colleges around the country. And when I meet young people, I find they really care passionately about these important issues. They want everybody to have a good job. They know that we've got to change now to save our planet for the future. They know it's really unfair and not right that children in other parts of the world are poor and don't have chances for water or basic schooling or sanitation. But I find young people don't just want to talk about it, they want to do, they want something done about it. And you are some of those young people. That's why it's really important you've come together today. This event is a great opportunity for you to have your say. And the kinds of things you'll be discussing today, they're exactly the same things which are going to be being discussed by the world leaders at the London Summit. So I hope that today will help you all to understand more about the kind of decisions they're going to have to make, how they'll weigh up different options, how they'll come together to make difficult decisions. why it's really important that they work together, because there's no country which can solve these things on their own. But it's not just about your understanding, it's also your input we need. Your ideas, the things you talk about today, they're going to be written down and they'll become part of the communique that will actually be presented to the world leaders. And we'll also make sure that we look hard at your ideas today and then ensure that when we put together our new white paper on what more we can in Britain do to play our part in eliminating global poverty, we'll make sure your ideas are right there on the page. So I hope you enjoyed today, but also that you come up with some really powerful ideas. It's your opportunity to set the direction, not just for our country, but for the world. It's a big responsibility, but I know you'll all take it very seriously. So have a good day and good luck.